Have you been asked to speak at an event, or maybe you're a seasoned speaker already, or you're someone who is sourcing the speakers and working with the speakers at your next event? Well, I'm an event producer, and I'm going to share some of the things that I wish some of my speakers would know to make sure that we have a smooth show, great experience, and your attendees are left just singing the praises of how amazing everything went on stage. Before we jump into it, I'm Logan Clements. I'm a freelance event producer based out of Seattle, Washington, but I execute events here and all over the world. I do want to remind you to like, subscribe, turn on that little notification bell so you get notified every single Monday when I drop new videos. I'm also the co-host of the Better Events podcast with fellow event pro Mary Davidson. We drop new episodes every single Wednesday, wherever you listen to podcasts, and we dive even more into some of these topics that I have videos on. You're going to get it every single Wednesday. Give it a listen. So this was a really fun list to make. As an event producer, I often work with speakers, but sometimes it's only in the final stages, or I wasn't a part of the vetting process of bringing them on. And this is just a list of notes that I've written down from my experience working at events with speakers who do everything from free and are, donate their time or they're a part of the organization to keynote speakers who charge $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 for their event. Doesn't matter where they are on the scale. These are just things that I wish they knew. So this first one is probably more applicable to speakers who don't have as much experience, but I do wish that speakers knew that different mics have different capabilities. This came up in an event that I worked in the springtime where we had a panel discussion and all of our panelists had handheld microphones, and one of our speakers kept turning her head and turning it away from the microphone, not turning the mic with her head, because she was used to doing podcasts. And podcasts, you often have an omnidirectional or multi-directional mic where it doesn't matter if she turns her head left or right, we can still hear. But with a handheld mic, you need to make sure you follow it with you. And so this is just something to think about when you're a speaker. And if you have a preference, if you'd like a handheld or a lav or a headset mic, it is up to you, but just knowing the different capabilities. Another example of this would be like if you have a lav, but maybe you're a speaker who likes to kind of like tap your chest. I had a motivational speaker who kept doing that, and it was very annoying with the lav microphone. So we just wish maybe we'd gone with the headset mic, because then we wouldn't hear every time he was slapping his chest how loud it was on the microphone. So just remember, different mics have different capabilities. And my second one is that as a speaker, you need to rehearse with similar energy to your actual delivery. So this could be, for example, if you're an auctioneer, when you're doing your rehearsal, you want to make sure maybe you can't get exactly there because you feed off the energy in the room, but you do want to speak at the level that you think you're going to be talking at, because this is really helpful as we on the production team are audio balancing and making sure that your mic is at the right levels so that we can all hear you. But we also don't want to do that when you're very low energy and we do your rehearsal, we set your mic level a little higher because you're a little quieter, and then you come out and you just start yelling or talking in a much louder tone, and that's going to blow out your attendees' eardrums and just sound garbled with your audio. So just making sure no matter what it is, I even try here with these YouTube videos to really pretend I'm talking to someone so that it helps me convey some more energy than maybe I would just by myself in my office. And my third one for what I wish speakers knew as an event producer is to know your marks and your camera angles. So camera angles are really important if you're recording the event or if you're utilizing iMag. I'll link in the show notes to my video about what iMag is, but it's essentially the cameras that take you to screen. And just being aware of that, because I have some speakers who really like to walk or pace the stage, and it's just something where I think they forget. Yes, they're playing to the in-person audience, but also the cameras are important, especially if you're at a larger event where the folks in the back can't see you very well. They are relying on those cameras to be able to see your facial expressions and your body language. And if you're constantly moving or constantly kind of out of the camera shot, it's going to be really difficult for your production team to do that. One of my pro tips always, and this is pretty basic, but you see this in theater, is they put colored tape or what we call marks on the stage, and these give you places to hit with your speaker. And then make sure that you actually talk through this at rehearsal. Don't just put tape marks down and assume they'll know what those mean. Another thing I've done for speakers who really like to move around is I will set boundaries. So I'll put tape down and say, hey, as long as you stay between the tape, we can follow you. It's not the end of the world if you go outside of it, but just know you need to stay a majority of your time between point A and point B. And that just kind of helps keep them a little more settled. And just, again, know where your cameras are, because we want to make you look good just as much as you want to look good. All right, my final tip is one that is like a help me, help you comment as an event producer to my speakers, is to make sure you talk about how you enter and exit the stage. I feel like a lot of speakers are very aware of wanting to make sure their entrance goes smooth, but sometimes forget okay, what do I do when I'm done? Am I handing it over to the next speaker? Am I shaking that person's hand? Am I just walking off stage and you're going to voice of God, intro, the next person, just making sure that you talk through that. I've also had people who don't even talk through the intro and they say, please welcome to the stage, Logan Clements. And then that person stands there for a good minute or two while the MC is continuing to read their bio. And it's just a weird, awkward transition. So make sure you talk through exactly what the cues are to enter, cues are to exit. This is especially important if you don't have a stage manager or if you're doing a lower budget production. You totally can still make it quality, but just talk through this. So those were just 4 of the things that I have on my list as an event producer that I wish speakers knew, remembered, took care of, because again, the whole goal of event production is just to have a really smooth show, to make sure everybody gets on and off how they need to, content's great, nobody has any technical difficulties, and then it's on you as the speaker to really actually deliver the meat and the content of that. So these comments are more just to kind of help you, help me. If you are someone who is dealing with speakers, hopefully this helped frame a little bit of the conversations you need to have with speakers ahead of time, as well as at their rehearsal time, and you're set up to have a better event. That brings me to the end of my video. I'm Logan Clements. I'm a freelance event producer based in Seattle, Washington, but I execute events here and all over the world. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.